Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandi Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. And yes, if you're watching this, I am at my pool, just sitting outside at the pool at our complex and enjoying this badass weather. So thanks for being here, for listening, for sharing, for watching. And like I said last week, 95 countries, and that's all because of you. You've helped me by sharing it. So I really, really appreciate that. And please don't stop. Share it because there's always new people, new countries. I got 100 more to go, right? And thanks most importantly for investing in you. So I was thinking about what can I talk about today? And ironically, last week I talked about focus, what helps you. I talked about what helps me, which was to-do lists, sometimes getting out of the office like today and being outside in the sun and just really just making sure I'm taking care of my list, taking care of myself and doing what I feel I need to do for me, right? Sticking to it. And I thought, well, when I came down to record today, I was like, what do I want to talk about? And I'm like, what have I recorded in the past or talked about in the past? And I went back into my platform and I just started looking at the dates. And 4 years ago, at the same time, I talked about focus. So clearly it's a thing in February, coming out of the holidays, coming out of January, and then going, oh shit, it's February. It's time to get focused, time to get off our asses and make amazingly badass things happen. And so today I thought, why not? Why not kind of look at what I talked about exactly the week after? And it was funny. It was like, we talk about being productive, not just busy. Busy is the 4-letter word, right? And I've asked you, what helps you stay focused? What's your strategy? And I heard back from people that, like myself, they use to-do lists and they do block time on calendar, which is one of my amazing friends, Mel. She just basically schedules everything like a meeting. And reminders are the biggest thing of all, right? Figuring out how to focus on strategies is one of the main things I work on with my clients. Why? Well, so they can be more productive. If you say you're not organized or you need to duplicate yourself, you wish there were more hours in the day, then I guarantee you aren't focused, or perhaps you're not focusing on the right things. And that's what I help people do. I help people, even if they write down get it out of your oh shit list and onto, a paper or an app or something. And then are those things that you're focusing on the right things? Are they prioritized? I mentioned last week in social media that I had tech support. I had tech issues and I had to spend a lot of time on tech support back and forth and back and forth. And then I offered to help a friend with a project. So that pretty much stole all of my Wednesday. And, then I felt a little bit behind. So making sure you're focusing on the right things and making sure that you understand that no is a complete sentence. But I wanted to help my friend. I needed to help her. She's so awesome. So making sure that you're focusing on the right things. I have helped people find hours in the day that they never, ever thought they had. I help them pull out of a panic. And, even when they've years ago, I had a client oversleep. I've talked about this off and on. She calls me freaking out. And, I was just like, oh my gosh, you have still 11 hours to get traditional 8 hours worth of work done. So calmed her down. Over the last couple of years, there's been many times where we've been sick. You just couldn't get things done. So how do you refocus and start getting shit done? Well, a lot of times it's a good old-fashioned reward. Yes, I like prizes. I like rewards. I like treats, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Even for the tiniest accomplishments, they keep us going. When I run my races, what do we get at the end? Well, sometimes a beer if you can get in the beer line, but you get all the treats and you get a medal. You get that reward, right? So why can't we do that in business? So today I want to talk about, what you can do to not just stay focused, but how you can reward yourself to stay focused. Those goals, the mini goals, not just the big goals. If you're still looking at what you're going to do by the end of the year and you're feeling overwhelmed, you got to break that down. Break it down to where you're just focusing on what you're going to do this week or maybe this month. Maybe a month's time is a small enough chunk for you. And that's great. And so if it's a personal goal where it's, get to a certain weight or get to a certain cholesterol level or get to a certain time in a run or just get to the gym, whatever that is. Or if it's a business goal of increasing income, what are you going to do? How many calls are you going to make? How many networking meetings are you going to go to? How much marketing and social media posts are you going to do? Are you going to ask your current clients for referrals, right? So then when you hit that goal, what do you do? Do you buy yourself a nice outfit, a nice meal out, good bottle of wine? I give myself, I break down my rewards daily even. So I've talked off and on about words with friends. It's my jam. It's my vice. A lot of people play on other kinds of social media or games or whatever. There's a ton of those games out there, but I love words with friends. So I do my first round in the morning before I even start my work. And then I don't care if I see that icon up at the top of my phone. I'm not allowed to do any more words with friends until I do my 1, 2, 3, until I do those 3 things that will help me move towards my goal, right? So I'm not allowed, my hair is getting in my mouth today. I am not allowed to play words with friends. So I sort of reward myself, if that makes sense. So if I don't get those things done, I can't play words with friends until I do. But then, it helps me stay focused. It helps me, when I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do those things. There's been a times where we all have things we have to do, but we don't really like to do them. Right now, a lot of people are talking about taxes. They have to get their tax stuff ready. Perhaps you have to go back and add up all your mileage for the year because you didn't keep track of it because we haven't really driven anywhere in almost 3 years. So looking at that going, shit, I gotta do that. So my suggestion, and I'm talking to myself as well, because I just moved and added to my calendar, do taxes. So yeah, I used to keep a log in my car, but since I don't drive as much, anywhere nearly as much, I don't. So yeah, until I get that done, until I get my mileage counted up for the year, I can't play words with friends. Or looking at the positive side of it, when I get that done, when I get that simple task done, and will it really take me that long? This year, maybe. At the end of this year, it will. But, last year we still weren't driving. So when I get my mileage counted up and ready for the accountant, I can play words with friends. So what about you? When I get another thing on my goal, my to-do list that's going to help me achieve my goals is getting all my client lists together. For my certification, I have to keep a client log with hours. I have to keep a client list. And of course, I moved over here because there was no trucks, but now there's a moving truck. If you're watching this, you can see it. Oh, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. There you go. Anyway, so client list, so have you kept up your client list? Do you know who's current, who's not? Some of you are not in the job or business that you have to keep that. Some of you have an amazing CRM that you can just click on a button and do that. But is it up to date? It's a good time to do those kinds of things, right? Rewards. It doesn't matter what your reward is, reward yourself when you achieve your little baby goal. Reward yourself with little things. I'm not going to go buy a good bottle of wine just because I got my tax stuff done. I'm not going to go buy a nice outfit because I got my client list done. So there's the things like play words with friends. Take a little pool break. Whoop. Take a little time off. Take a beach walk. Those are the things I do as a mini reward to help me know I've done something, I've accomplished something, and then I can keep going. It keeps me motivated because then I'm like, ooh, what if I do the other thing I really don't want to do? Yeah, right? And then, yes, there are those things on your to-do list that we have to determine. And another thing I help my clients with and myself is, are these a good use of your time? Pulling my client list together, because it doesn't matter. I hire someone full-time or a virtual assistant or anyone. Ask a friend. They don't know if they're a current client, past client. I mean, the Excel spreadsheet's there. I just have to go in and pull it all together and know that. So, I have to do that. My taxes, I have to do. I could probably hand over my calendar to someone and go, they could just map out the miles, but it's right there. There's like 15 mileage things. So making sure that the things on your to-do list are truly a good use of your time. They are in the right order, priority. If you have a client that's screaming the loudest, are they the most important? Sometimes you just need to get that done. And sometimes you go, why are you screaming? So looking at that too. So there's kind of a lot going on here. Looking at mini rewards, bigger rewards. So mini rewards for a task that's going to help you achieve your goal, and a bigger reward when you've achieved your goal for the month. The mini ones are more like for the day or the week kind of thing. And those are for getting that stupid shit done that you don't want to do, right? And looking at it and going, oh gosh, this is amazing. I've gotten these things done. And the mental, relief, getting that off your to-do list, getting it into the proper hands, getting my taxes to the accountant will be like, woo, done. That's done for another year, right? And getting my client list updated, and maybe I need to reach out. Maybe I'll have some people on there and be like, I haven't talked to them for a while. They graduated one of my boot camp programs. They went through one of my 6-week for success programs, and I haven't run one in a while. So where are they? How are they doing? Just doing a check-in with them, things like that. So looking at how, by doing all these little mini tasks that you don't want to do, some amazing things will come out of it. I'm pretty confident about that. So I look forward to hearing from you about how you reward yourself for the mini stuff and for the bigger stuff. And as always, thank you very much for being here, for sharing this with others, and for investing in you. Have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you. Email me, Sandi@sandiballard.com. And if you aren't sure how to really get focused, refocused, get going, or what you need to do to take that next step to get from where you are to where you want to go, contact me, sign up, schedule a session with me, direct message me, email me, Sandi with an I, Sandi@sandiballard.com. Cheers.